So once you have your finished piece, I haven't bothered to wash it or anything. I've just sort of had it in the hoop and I haven't really touched it. You want to measure out sort of the design's width on a piece of white card. It's better if you can use acid free because it'll last longer without discolouring. And I'm realising that my pen isn't working, so I've had to get another one. So I'm just going to cut the card to the size of the design rather than the actual size of the bookmark, because it's going to be sewn into the thing itself, so it needs to be a little bit smaller. And I'm just measuring to see I'm happy with it. This fabric is just a fat quarter, I think, from Hobbycraft in the sale for like £1, which was pretty good. And I'm just gonna sort of eyeball and cut about 1 inch around the outside of the size of the card. I'm just eyeballing everything pretty much. I don't really measure anything. And I'm just making sure that the fold is leaving 2 squares of the Ada on the outside for a border. And I'm just going to fold it over and cut it so that it's like halfway across the back of the design. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side, just so that they sort of almost meet, but not quite. And the top, I'm just cutting about 1 centimetre or so from there. And I'm going to just fold the fabric until I'm happy with it and I know where it's going to sort of lie. And then I'm going to use some hair grips. I just find them easier than pins because they don't really snag onto the thread, or it doesn't ruin your design. And I'm just going to start sewing with thread that I've used like within the design, just left over. And I'm just doing like a simple is it straight stitch or something, and then cutting sort of the end to make a lip that's not too bulky, because it can be quite difficult to push the needle through if there's like a lot of fabric. So I'm just going to measure the back end as well, just to see whereabouts I want that to lie. I'm just making a cut and then taking it off and then continuing on. And remember to use a sharp needle, because it's quite tough sometimes to poke the needle through. And then I'm just going to do the same for the other side, just folding it over and make sure I'm happy with it. And then just try and make like a nice sort of crease so that you know where you're at. And then put the hair grips back in. You want the hair grips to sort of be spread evenly-ish, so that the fabric doesn't like move too much, the back end fabric and the Ada don't move too much. And then if I need to finish a thread, just like put it through the seam so that it's easy to hide. And then carry on, and I'm going to just do it all the way up the other side. And then I'm making sure that the corners are sort of well tucked in, because I was noticing that they were just sort of like splaying out a little bit and I didn't like it, so I've had to just really like squish it in. So the top, I've just used a needle threader to put this tassel through. The tassels, I think just like Trimmets tassels, a couple of quid I think. And really be careful here because you don't want to rip your Ada, but you can just wiggle it and just be careful. It will eventually pop through. And then just loop it around. Pull, careful not to get your thread trapped in it. And then I'm just going to fold it back and sew sort of over the loop of the tassel, and then finish the thread, and that's us done, I think. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. The stitches on the back aren't as neat as you'll see in a second, but I don't mind. I quite like the imperfections. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching.